go. All right, gentlemen. Here we are. Week fucking 4. Still shocked we haven't been canceled.
1 month.
1 month? Well, not quite. It would technically, I guess, be 28 days. So, 28 days later, have we infected the zombie nation of the world? Who knows?
That's going to flow right into the top.
Okay, so we're going to start off with the something you really wanted to talk about in particular. So mainly we'll just divulge to you for clarity, information, and what apparently Project Veritas did this special report about a school teacher whose name was Gabriel Gipe, teaching a high school out in San Francisco, a teacher of AP government.
Advanced government.
Advanced government.
It's
Okay. AP government.
Yeah.
So he's a teacher teaching kids, and he had some crazy fucking ideas and ideology that he was apparently passing on to his students. So we'll get right into it.
So, this teacher, by his own words, said that he had 180 days to turn his students into revolutionaries. So he's pushing his own beliefs on students, and it's not part of the curriculum. But I certainly hope it's not. I don't know the school board.
Well, you never know with California.
Being the fact that he's being fired shortly, at least within their statement.
They released that statement that he's going to be fired.
Right. Right now he's on paid
Administrative leave.
paid administrative leave with the works of firing him from the system. So let's go further into his statement. He said.
Okay.
He said. How does he do this? By his own words, he says he scares the fuck out of them. Then he encourages them to go to the Antifa protests, which I would like to say are not really protests. They are assaults, and they use terrorist tactics to quiet people, to move people out of public spaces. This guy he's not a good guy, and I did watch the school board meeting, which, by the way, Project Veritas brilliantly posted this video 1 or 2 days before an already planned meeting for the school board, so that in a timely fashion, all the teachers, or not all the teachers, but all the parents and some students.
Could have some context as to what the fuck is actually going on.
And they went out there, and they pretty much reamed the school board pretty badly. In fact, one of the parents said that he removed his kid from a different school from the area that had similar beliefs. So this is not, at least in that area, this is not a one event off thing. There's people
it's kind of like a
there's people
consensus
within,
of this information.
There's people within the Sacramento
or
and probably more along the lines of West Coast issues.
California.
Right, California. And I mean, it's not just getting you got Portland, you got Oregon, you got Seattle, Washington.
Chicago.
Well, Chicago is a whole different beast of ignorance and corruption, but they do use the same style tactics. But Chicago isn't really a home of like Antifa or those kind of extreme left-wing groups.
Okay, well, first of all, let's get back to this teacher himself. Okay, he's obviously I don't even know how to describe them. I would say mentally deranged, probably, because if you really believe that the tactics of Antifa are the way to go forward in governance, then you're fucked. All right. What are your opinions on that? Let me jump over to you.
I can't believe that the school system allowed them to put Antifa flags in communist posters.
And
Yeah,
now
that's true. Let's delve into that. Okay, so apparently this teacher, as we will loosely call him, had an Antifa flag hanging in classroom, multiple, and also you said a picture of
Mao Zedong, the Chinese that created the head of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, basically communists. Right, okay. Not a picture of the President of the United States, whoever it be at that time. Not a picture of a former President of the United States, whoever your favorite is. I.e., I like Andrew Jackson, because he was a bad motherfucker. But we can get into that at a different point in time. Also, he's on the $20 bill, if you guys didn't know. So what do you got on that?
You said he was mentally deranged. I disagree. I believe that
Indoctrinated.
he himself is indoctrinated. I like to call it infected. Antifa is basically, and their ideas are basically a cancer to the country. It is something that destroys. It is not something that that grows or is useful.
Would you equate them to a cult?
No, that's definitely cultish.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But and like you said those tactics don't work. I disagree. They worked very well for the Nazis prior to World War II.
For like 10 years.
Well, I mean, they're still going. Nobody's getting rid of Antifa. It's
Well, but I
it's
mean, there's
embedded.
no more Nazi party, is basically what I was saying.
that. I mean, I would disagree with that. There's probably small factions
Yeah.
of Nazis.
Small, but do they really control any power?
No.
And nothing like, Germany
That
back in
doesn't-
like circa like 1940 or anything.
That doesn't make them less dangerous.
Well, yeah, that's true. Do you have any, opinions or anything to add to this matter?
The whole fascism thing that he claims to be pushing is really interesting.
Well, now my problem with that is he doesn't really claim to be pushing fascism. It's just that some of his beliefs seem kind of fascist. So, I mean,
On either end of the
that's
spectrum.
that's a whole,
Can of worms.
yeah, so kind of, any rebuttals to that?
I mean, they claim to be anti-fascists.
What is the definition, in your opinion, of fascism?
I did look it up. I looked it up. I found multiple different definitions
Once
of
again,
fascism.
okay,
They
in your personal opinion, what do you consider to be the definition of fascism?
I would like to say that it's very disputed on what the definition of fascism is, but what I have written down here was the best, in my opinion, the best
That's what we're
definition
looking
of
for.
fascism, which is it is led by a dictator who is having complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition, criticism, and regimenting all industry and commerce. So Antifa definitely has fitting within that definition of forcibly suppressing.
Well, who? Okay,
Its opposition.
I hate to play devil's advocate here because I'm not a fan of Antifa. But at the same point in time, who would their dictator be?
At this point, they won't have them. But if there was a revolution, somebody would rise to the top.
Interesting.
Just like in the CCP when the communists took over China.
Okay.
And by the way, just like all socialist, communist revolutions, there's the seconds in commands, the thirds in commands, the fourths in commands. Anybody that had any type of opposition and revolutionaries altogether, by definition, are dangerous people who want power. Generally speaking, normally those for the seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths, they go away really fast because there's one guy that wants all the power and he doesn't want to have to answer to anybody, including the people that worked with him to achieve his goals.
Yeah. It's an interesting take. It's probably also throughout history, I would assume, very true. Do you have anything to add on that?
Not really. I think Ken pretty much summed everything up about this crazy story.
That's a great history.
Yeah.
There was the third part to the definitions: aggressive nationalism and often racism. So, I mean, that doesn't necessarily prove my point that they're part of anything, but I would consider the group. I would consider a group Antifa. Maybe it's not countrywide like nationalism, but it is certainly could be considered that if you.
Well, in my opinion, it's difficult to associate. Well, in the United States anyway. Okay, let me. In the United States, it's difficult to associate nationalism with racism. And hear me out on this because I know this is probably going to be controversial. All right. All of the 330 million people here that live in the United States are Americans, right? And we come from all different backgrounds and everything. So it's hard to associate nationalism with racism, to me, in my opinion. Granted, probably not going to be a popular opinion because I know it does happen, but I just don't understand how.
I don't disagree.
We all can't just get along. I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I don't disagree. I think there absolutely has to be some kind of national pride in order for your in order for your segment to be successful. Because if you're not proud of something, you don't believe in it. You don't fight
why
for
would
it.
you even call it your segment?
Because-
No, it's our segment.
Well, it is. I'm talking about our segment, as in any citizen of the United States should have some nationalism. Should feel some sort of nationalism or pride in their country.
That's the word right there, pride.
Right.
You can be disappointed in different parts of our history. You can be you can be disappointed in the way things that work right now. But overall, I feel that we are, if not the freest and one of the strongest leading cultures and countries in the world. You haven't stepped outside the United States of America if you don't believe that. You can say that some places are better for one reason or another, but altogether, this is a great country to live in, no matter what race, religion,
ethnicity, creed, whatever you subscribe to.
Right. If you don't believe that, then you've never been anywhere else in the world.
And on top of that, if you don't believe that if we can't all just get along, you know what? My thing is, get the fuck out.
Go somewhere else.
Go somewhere
Better
else.
suit you.
I mean, even if it's just for like, if you feel that way, go somewhere. Go somewhere else. Live there for like a year. I mean, I bet you'll
not
figure
even a year, probably like 3 months.
I'll bet you'll figure
3
it out
months,
real fucking quick.
you'll understand what's up.
Right.
That's, I mean, yeah.
I mean, our country
I have
has-
actually traveled abroad. I know you have been outside of the
Yeah,
United States.
multiple places. Canada has too.
You've been, yeah. Well,
I've been to
I
the
mean,
worst places.
So,
On vacation.
paid vacation.
Yeah, paid vacation.
Once again, thank you for your service, Mr. Veteran.
Here's my job.
Yeah, well, it's your job at the time. Do you want to know anything about Project Veritas in general?
I do want to go into Project Veritas, and if you have not heard of Project Veritas, which I know
Yeah.
Troy had no idea, Project Veritas is legendary, and that includes.
In your opinion.
I mean, I am willing to go. I will, in my mind, in a state of fact, Project Veritas and James O'Keefe is the greatest investigatory journalist, at least in the modern United States. I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but they have a conservative lean. You can call it that, but they go to Google. They do stuff with news companies. They do stuff with the powerful people, in which the corporate media won't do, because they work for the people that they should be investigating. And Project Veritas does not do that. It is
Like an underground.
right. It is funded. It is fun. I don't know exactly who funds it. I'm going to guess that most of their money comes from just individual citizens that see what they do, believe in it. They probably make money off a lot of the lawsuits that they get involved in.
Do you have any metrics on how many times they've been sued?
Oh, they've been sued a lot of times, and they are very proud of the fact that they have not lost one lawsuit.
Oh,
They have
okay.
never lost one lawsuit. In fact, James O'Keefe
Is that true?
Yes.
For 100% fact?
Yes.
Okay.
James O'Keefe was put in jail. He was arrested and put in jail.
I got a comment for that, but we can't say it on camera.
Okay. Anyways, I got it written down here.
Okay.
A couple of the most recent. What's that?
No, go.
A couple of the most recent stories. He's got a DHS whistleblower on how it's important to deny renewals on work visas for immigrants that came over here to work. Their time came up, and it is completely impossible to deny a work visa. He also, the DHS.
Now, I mean, you mean deny, so it automatically has to get reapproved?
Yes, there's no way.
Okay.
There's no way to
Okay.
not allow
So
it.
they're here indefinitely.
Right.
Basically.
There's child sex traffickers, trafficking gangs exploit a loophole on reasonable fear. I'm not going into these subjects.
Right, that's fine. No, just read off the top 5 headlines or whatever you got.
You got Hasbro, a toy manufacturer. An employee came out as a whistleblower.
Pretty sure they made Monopoly.
Couple
that's
board
possible.
games.
They're very popular. They make a lot of toys.
Yeah, anyway, go on.
They are employing critical race theory on children's toys. They were forced to watch a video on stating how a 3-month-old becomes racist.
Okay.
So what do these toys look like now?
Like I said, I'm not going into it. I mean, I'm just telling you some of the top stories that
I don't think we want to touch that.
100%.
I don't think we want to touch that.
100%.
We'll leave that to Project
Yeah,
Veritas.
Right.
You're right.
100%. You should subscribe to Project Veritas. You should subscribe to us so you can learn more.
That's
you have
right.
Something to push.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Hit that
Drop
bell
them comments down below. Hey, what?
That bell button.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, Project Veritas. Obviously, you love them.
Yes.
I'm going to check out more of their shit. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't know enough about them. You've been talking about them to me, like personally, for a very long time about it. So maybe I just need to check out more of their shit.
This is the first time I've heard about it.
Well, I mean, you can't find it. You're not. If you look it up, you're not going to find it because they got it.
Well, you got to be able to find it somewhere.
Right.
I found it a
Word.
very, very long time ago, and now YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. And,
But I mean, they still have a YouTube channel, correct?
right. I'm 100% sure they're trying to shut that down at any points. But
What else?
they've got a lot of different lawsuits going on. They got a lawsuit currently against Twitter, Facebook, the New York Times, some other, I think it's the Washington Post or something like that.
Okay, so
For
basically a lawsuits against major media outlets for probably trying to suppress their information, obviously, correct?
I don't know if they're, I mean, they're not really, I mean, if you consider smears a style of suppression, like
I mean, I would.
printing untruthful
It'd be like,
things.
you know, me, you know, just running around telling one of the, you know, you like fuck goats or something.
Right?
You know? To an extent.
But you,
to an extent. Obviously, that was like
you can't-
super
Yeah, that was
niche,
way up
but
there.
you can't say that I go around fucking goats. You can say that.
I've heard he goes around fucking
Right.
goats.
I know a
You
good
can
fucker.
say something like that, or you can say a source told me.
Right.
But you don't have to give up that
Right,
source.
right. But I mean, generally, I mean, I can say that about you because I know you're not going to say
I mean, that's what goes. That's what happens a lot in the media right now. They say false things, but they say it in a way
right. And
that
there's
makes
all
it
this
so that
back
they're
and forth,
legally
and,
protected.
you know, all this rhetoric and everything that goes on, and it's fucking frustrating, honestly,
Right.
to try and wade through the shit in order to get to the actual news.
Right.
It's disgusting, and I think anyone out there who's watching this that actually partakes in the media needs to fucking realize that this is not what most people want.
It made me angry at first. Now I'm just extremely disappointed in the morals and the values of people today. It's sad. It really is sad to see what we've evolved into. And it's tearing people apart. It's tearing families apart. The way the media acts today. I mean, they're just going for clicks. They're creating mass paranoia.
It's crazy, right?
I mean, I remember back in the day,
I'm gonna be honest. It seems like you want to cry. Would you like a tissue?
I mean, let's be honest. It's that sad.
It really is sad.
It's how.
Honestly.
I am. It's.
The crazy thing is, everybody's got an opinion nowadays. It's not based in any kind of facts.
Right. Well, and also everyone's opinion is either different to an extent.
Right.
Whether it be very very slightly or vastly majority.
Yeah.
It's everyone. People have their own mind. They think and act on those thoughts themselves.
Or
Let's
the
be
group-
honest.
The group that they hang out with. That's usually what.
Well, that would be more or less like herd mentality.
Yeah,
kind of
which is a
shit,
lot.
and which is fucked up. Really, you gotta have your own opinions.
It's always been that way, though.
Even if your group of friends have a different opinion.
We all think differently than each other.
Yeah, and we'll fucking throw that shit in each other's face all the time.
A lot of it's.
That's why it's
monetarily-
great.
Yeah.
That's why it's great.
A lot of it's monetarily motivated too, because there's so many people out there that can reach out and say something, and they're just saying the most outrageous things to get people to watch their videos or read their.
That's more or less
articles.
like a social media or YouTube kind of thing too.
Right, but that's part of it. That's all part of it.
Right, but at the same point in time, you gotta be able to recognize acting versus just people laying it out there in front of you.
Well, children aren't told how to act and learn properly nowadays. They just sit in front of their phones.
Or they have
play
teachers
video
giving them
games
extra
all day
credit
long. Nobody will get extra credit. Yeah.
to go out and assault people.
Yeah. And they don't know any better because no one's taught them.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Anyway,
It's a
that's
fucked
actually
up
pretty interesting. I'm surprised it snowballed into that.
Yeah,
But
that
anyway, moving on. We're gonna go into the chip shortage that is apparently happening worldwide. Apparently, if you are part of the PC master race, you can't get any. What do they call them? NVIDIA's 3090s or whatever the fuck they are. Doesn't matter. GM has also shut down production on all new vehicles
temporarily.
temporarily, obviously, but you know, who knows how long that's going to last. So, first of all, my question to the both of you is, why is this happening? Why do we not have these chips or super semiconductor supercomputer chips or whatever the fuck they are?
I think it has to do with manufacturing and distribution.
Okay, obviously.
And the costs of the whole 5G network, new cell phones.
So you think more of these chips are being allocated to cell phones rather than automobiles?
Not necessarily, but in general, like the whole entire section of like cars, anything that needs that chip, it's in such a high demand that they're not going to be able to produce them as much as they could.
Right, obviously not produce them as much as they could, but you're saying that it's because of 5G?
No, that's just one of the...
That would indicate to me that more of these chips are being allocated for cell phones versus automobiles. So, going by that, you think that
It's
the
possible.
world market domination is going towards cell phones rather than transportation.
It's possible.
It is
That's
possible.
a good point.
I'm not arguing
No,
that.
that's a
but,
good point because cell phones, I don't think, have a shortage, right?
But at the same point, I don't know if the chip shortage is due to 5G.
Right, right. Well, that's just, like I said, just a small fraction of the bigger problem with the whole chip problem.
Okay, what's your opinions on this matter?
I mean, I think it's an economic thing where trade's getting shut down and people are hoarding. China and Taiwan are basically the only two places
Did you say hoarding?
hoarding.
I don't think anyone's hoarding any of these chips. They're selling them for max profits.
Okay. But they're
It has to do with semiconductors too.
right. Well, semiconductors are created from China and Taiwan, and that's where
Well,
the
semiconductors will be various metals and whatnot
Right.
that are used in these little tiny chip boards.
Yeah, they still have to be made. And
They
developed
still have to,
somewhere.
they still have to be made and everything, but, you know, could there not be like a metal shortage? Based on the fact that no one's really been working throughout the, world, and no one's been mining
I don't think
and mining these metals that we need to make this shit.
I'd be hard pressed to believe that they've shut down the mines. I don't think.
Well, in some countries, the lockdown, stringency was a lot more severe than it was here.
But I think that affects more of the manufacturing than it does the actual rare materials.
A lot of the materials come from like Africa and stuff. I don't see Africa showing.
Well, actually, a lot of, like, in particular, lithium, in the lithium-ion batteries in our cellular devices, a lot of that comes from South America.
And lithium from asteroids or something like that. What's it called?
It's a metal. I
It's
don't know.
a
Yeah.
metal.
I know, but I think
it comes
it's-
from the earth somewhere.
Yeah, but it's. I read somewhere that it's asteroids or something.
I mean, possibly,
Meteors
but
that-
that just sounds like far-fetched to me. I don't know.
I
could
think
be
it's
wrong.
not
Could be wrong.
100%. That's just.
I think we stated earlier that most of the water on Earth didn't actually develop on Earth, that it came from like asteroids.
Frozen.
And so a lot of materials may have come from
Well, actually,
asteroids, but
more likely than coming from an asteroid, it probably came from a comet, because
Well,
comets are mostly
yeah,
That's just what I. 'Cause at one time
I have to
was
get more
taking-
into astronomy.
What do you say? I love space.
I was taking lithium at one time,
Right.
medication, and I remember
I'm pretty sure we're talking about different types of
lithium is lithium. It's just.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's probably watered down. I don't think.
Well, it's not.
So you're basically just putting like a chunk of metal in your mouth?
No, it's obviously
That's
designed for you to take it, but it's got lithium in it.
You take iron. Iron is a metal. That's something that you have in a lot of the foods.
Either way, like cobalt's a good example for Africa. Cobalt's hydrogen. I'm not saying it's has to do with the chips, but third world countries. I don't see them shutting down like.
I don't see that either.
Well, I mean, I guess it really depends on like how hard pressed they are for GDP. And there's got to be a lot of factors, I think, that go into that decision.
I think COVID's the last thing a lot of different countries are worried about.
Have you ever seen them go
That's-
into the mines?
A lot of poor
No.
countries.
Dude, they'll go in the old mine shafts, go down with like a sandwich and a beer, be down there for like 3 days. This old, fucked up mine shaft.
With one sandwich and one beer?
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
what
kidding
it
me? I'd at
means.
least take a sick bag with me.
They can't afford it.
Yeah, they can't.
And they'll be down there for 3 days and hope that the rocks that they fucking mine had some
Or something?
Yeah,
Or
so
else they
they'll come
don't
back
get paid?
up. Right, 3 days back up again.
That sounds like a shit job.
That's all they got, dude.
Right. Just saying. Alright, let's move on. Okay, as far as this chip shortage and everything goes, obviously we are all here gamers, right? To an extent.
Right.
Me, not as much some more. You are fucking off with your World of Warcraft bullshit.
Got a raid.
But the scalpers with these new consoles, in particular the Xbox Series X and the PS5,
Still going on.
still going on. Apparently, we looked it up earlier. Apparently, the average price for a Series X was about $800, and an average price for PS5 was $900. When do you think this bullshit will end?
It can end in a couple ways. One, they figure out how to stop scalpers with their auto buy little bots that they have. But that probably won't happen. So they just need back to the old chip shortage. After the chips start coming in, the
Okay.
scalpers.
Right. Well, all right. Let me propose this question to you. On top of that, what if instead of selling shit online like they're doing and allowing the bots to buy the shit, what if they just sold the shit in the store so you actually had to? I know no one wants to do this, too, but go into the store and buy the thing for retail value instead of paying an extra. What, like fucking like $200-$300?
Yeah. I think stores still are getting them. They're just in short stock. Like they get X amount.
Right, they probably only get like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's something stupid, man. Like,
And then the rest of them are sold online and they get bought up by the scalpers, which is what I'm saying is fucked.
I think there's going to be like a back and forth with it on people trying to stop scalpers and people scalping. It's like a business, and it's kind of like maybe it's not really. I mean, I don't know if
Well,
it
it
is.
is, it is a business because I heard about someone making $2 million selling like
Right.
Oh,
next-gen consoles.
But there's
in,
gonna
like,
be a
1 year.
they get like pallets of that shit.
There's going to be a back and
$2
forth.
million profit.
Right.
Stupid. Stupid. I guarantee that motherfucker ain't claiming that shit on taxes either.
And the bottom line is, I don't think that the companies that are selling them, like Sony or
They don't
Xbox,
care
they don't
because
care
they're getting paid anyway.
They're still making their money one way or another.
Right.
So
Well,
they're not
I mean,
like- they're not
realistically, it would be
fighting.
more beneficial for these companies, however, to actually get them out into the hands of consumers rather than the scalpers, because they would also benefit from, like, Xbox Live or whatever the shit is on PlayStation. I don't fucking know.
PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus.
You know it. You know.
That's my opinion.
He's not biased at all.
I'm not. This motherfucker over here is like PC Master Race. Fucking.
There's more games. There's more games to play. I feel like I have more control of my characters. I can play more complex games because I have a keyboard and a mouse rather than just a controller. There's more buttons. I mean, I just like it better. I just like playing on the computer better.
He likes it better.
Now, how is the shortages on the PC side?
I don't know. I bought all my stuff before Well, I bought it during the lock-in, but there wasn't shortages back then as far as I
All right. Let's jump on. Apparently, with this chip shortage, the price of used cars has gone through the goddamn fucking roof.
If you got an extra one, now's the time to sell it.
It's upwards of like 40%. In fact, you pulled up something like a 9-year-old car. I don't know how many miles were on it. Sold for like $13,000. Who the fuck would spend $13,000 on a used car that is 9 fucking years old?
What kind of car is it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
No, well that's
There's a lot of factors.
We don't know.
there's a lot of factors.
Like I said, it was
I would imagine it's like an average car.
right, like a
Right.
fucking Honda or something. Let's just say it's a Honda.
I would imagine at that price that it wasn't just a normal car. I mean, a 9-year-old Honda, you could probably get maybe like $1,000 or $2 off. But that's all.
Not now, dude.
Yeah, not nowadays.
I would have to look at the used car and have to see what I can.
Okay, get to work.
I'm not.
Well, you already mentioned the whole GM temporarily shut down. So,
It's realistically the supply chain is fucked.
yeah.
You know, overall, with this chip shortage and everything is getting fucked. You know, from like computers, PC to the automotive industry to basically any other industry that relies on computing to function,
Which is everything.
which is nowadays, like you said, everything.
That shows you how fragile our ecosystem is right now with technology.
You can't have manufacturing. You can't have shutdowns in manufacturing shutdowns and expect nothing bad.
Well, that's true, but also, that actually made me think about something. What if the shutdown of manufacturing is because they don't have the chips to produce their own fucking manufacturing? Because everything's done like, robotically or with a lot of stuff.
That's true.
I don't know. That's like, granted a stretch, but what if that is what is actually happening, but they don't tell you?
That's true, but where I'm going at is that when we originally had shutdowns and everybody went home, and nothing really was getting done except for specific people. What were they called? People
Essential workers.
Essential workers.
We were still working.
I mean, we were still working, but what you can't shut down everything and then we're all of a sudden everything's gonna come back directly the way it was before. There's gonna be it's gonna come back. I think, but it's not gonna be fast. It's gonna be slow.
You also had people that were working that weren't essential workers either. Like my dad's a machinist, but he wasn't essential. He still went to work. So you had people kind of in the gray area.
He was deemed essential because he had a manufacturing job.
He didn't get told any of that. He just went. Like you also had like landscapers and stuff.
People that work for themselves do.
Yeah,
they don't have to pay
it.
attention.
You know what I mean?
That's true. All right, and the final thing is, let's talk about Tesla in particular and Elon Musk. Because, man, that'll be awesome. I love this thing. Yeah. He's baller as fuck.
He's like a Renaissance man.
he is
One of a
man.
kind.
Well, on top of that, he's probably the smartest motherfucker on the face of the earth. I think.
One of.
One of. Yes.
One of.
Probably not.
I'm gonna say that the smartest guy on the face of the earth you never heard of, because it's not smart to be in public eye. In my opinion.
That's a good point. Okay, well, either way, he said that the toilet paper frenzy last year is the equivalent of the chip shortage frenzy this year. Which, once again, man, you gotta admire, man, to call shit how he sees it.
Publicly.
Publicly. On Twitter.
Yeah.
On Twitter. You don't give a fuck. he will call shit how he sees
He's
it.
got fuck you money.
Yeah, but,
He
yeah.
doesn't give a shit.
Okay, but my question to you boys is, all right, let's think about this. We've all seen these videos of this Tesla bot, right?
Well, the guy in a uniform dancing. We haven't actually seen a Tesla bot.
Well, supposedly they are working on a Tesla bot. That is correct, right? All right.
A guy just came up in a suit and break danced on the fucking stage next to Elon Musk.
Right. Okay.
But he is working on it.
That's fair enough.
He is
Granted,
working.
they're working on it. So my question to you two will be: how many chips do you think would be involved in a project like that, creating a robot?
How many functions does it have?
I don't know.
That would be the question to ask. How
Can
many
it,
chips?
can
it
like,
have?
fucking jerk people off?
I
Who
don't
the fuck knows? Who knows?
Maybe it's unisex. Who knows? That would take 2 more chips. An inner and out.
What do you have here?
Yeah, that was going a little off.
Yeah.
I mean, you're asking a question like, how many jelly beans are in this jar? The kind of question.
Well, I don't know. I'm just asking. I mean, how many of these freaking chips that they can be used to, like,
Well, think of
producing
it-
vehicles and transportation rather than a robot could be used, for like I said, transportation.
Just say you
rather
need a
than
chip for each
this.
function.
Industry changes, and it's changed by the people with the most money.
Okay. Now, do you think that let's just say that I won't necessarily say he, but Tesla is using these chips instead of transportation production for these Tesla bots in order to secure a patent, in order for future gains.
I mean, I kind of forgot where I was going to go with that thing, to be honest with you. Yeah, whenever you're developing something new, you find problems, and then in order to solve problems, you have to create solutions, and solutions become patents. So when you're creating something, if you find a way to fix something or you have to make something new to fix something, you patent that, and just the creation of a thing can also gain you more money, and you actually never know what you're gonna run into or create to solve the problems that you're facing, which might be more valuable than the thing that you're actually making.
Solving a problem creates innovation. Right. In the general scheme.
Right.
Have anything to add?
Speaking of patents, I found this interesting. The whole China-U.S. patent system, where the U.S. patents aren't able to be pushed into China, which means China can use U.S. patents and create the same products.
Well, yeah, because China doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I didn't know that, so that creates all types of chaoses. If you only have a U.S. patent and it's not global, then anybody can just steal someone's ideas and make it their own.
That's true, but companies also need to do more diligence in order to secure their, intellectual property.
Right.
And, it's a fact of the matter, if you leave it fucking uploaded on a fucking server somewhere, guess what? A hacker is going to steal it. Period in the story. Period in the story. Agreed? Absolutely good.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be a hacker. It could be just by chance some president's son doing cocaine off an asshole.
Off an asshole.
I don't know what happened. I didn't watch the videos. I know there's just people that leave information around.
Follow it down the hole.
Okay. Anyway. All right. Moving on. Just for clarification, a U.S. patent lasts for 14 years.
Right.
There are exceptions to extend it, but 14 years on general principle. All right. for our final story of the day. I'd almost want you to take the lead on this one
Alright.
because I don't feel like I need to even say anything other than this is crazy.
There's a relationship between dynamite and Viagra.
Yes. That's right. Every time you nut, it's fucking a giant explosion.
Dynamite is Viagra's dad.
So it's someone that they.
Grandfather.
Okay, well, who's the mother?
Who's the mother? I don't know, whatever. Albert, fucking, what's his fucking face? Albert Nobel? Yeah, I'm fucking up. Asciano Sobrero is the creator of nitroglycerin. Albert Nobel did not create nitroglycerin. Albert Nobel manufactured nitroglycerin and developed dynamite. So, back in the old days, people were in during heat, and the fuck, man, I'm doing fucked up.
You're terrible.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Use your words, man. Use your words.
dynamite would sweat. It would get into people's, it would go into people's hands and bodies, and they would get this thing called bang. Right. So that was just like at the end of the week after handling explosives and dynamite.
I'm waiting for that to become a category.
Pornhub. I was thinking the same thing, but you see me look at you. I was gonna let Ken keep talking. That's the first thing I thought.
Sorry, I had to interrupt that one. Let's go.
We got some dirty minds around here.
Yep.
So people would get this bang head on at the end of the week. I'm not gonna get through this at
No,
all.
you're not.
At the end of the week.
Keep going.
And then after the weekend, they would feel normal. And so they started doing medical testing on why this was happening. And they found that not only was it due to the nitroglycerin, but they found that it was it could be used for treating hypertension, and it's used in medication for all different kinds of heart ailments, including angina. He wants me to talk about
No.
anal fissures.
No, that's something used to treat.
Yes, it is also used to treat anal fissures. Would you all like to comment on anal fissures?
I don't even
if
know
you
what the fuck that is.
I don't know if you can resist.
That could also be another category or Pornhub. Who the fuck knows? I don't know.
Rectum. I had to say
It sounds like Rip Rectum. Yeah.
Rip Rectum.
I don't know, but
Well, anyways,
it's very strange that they, even consider that a medical condition.
How would you go to the doctor? Yeah, I have a fissure in my asshole. Like, how do you fucking?
Well, of course you do. You got to take a shit.
I guess.
I don't know. I mean,
Everybody never have to figure it out.
maybe a medical professional could clarify this for us somewhere down in the comments. Moving on.
so nitric oxide is the gas that creates the.
What do you mean you don't know?
It works.
What the fuck do you mean you don't know?
So I was not planning on being the spokesman for this. I was not prepared for that in that way. So I'm going all throughout my paper, and I'm ill prepared for this moment in time. I just know the information. But anyways, it works by relaxing and widening constricted blood vessels. And they were using Pfizer back in the day was trying to find something that could moderate blood pressure. And they found out it was effective in animals, but it was not effective in humans. But what did happen in humans is that they got a raging boner.
Bonner.
Yes, a boner. Yes.
Yeah, man, you are. Okay.
This is
I got some questions. All right. Number
We're,
one.
we're seeing it raw right now. Raging Bullets, Raw, Silverville.
we're all talking right now with our
Yeah.
monitors.
I got some questions.
Yes.
Okay. Are you prepared to answer them?
We could do a study.
A study on what?
Yes, we could do a study just like they did.
Anyway,
On Ken.
have you ever taken nitrous oxide?
I think everybody's had some form of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is.
It used to
It's a
be
glue.
used for like dentists and shit like that, right? But so
It's
it's
a
safe
general
to
glue as
say
well.
that you have taken nitrous oxide. Now, obviously, my nitrous oxide that I had was in a very different setting and event.
No canisters.
No, it was a balloon.
Oh.
But anyway, my question is to you: when you have had nitrous oxide, do you remember yourself having a raging hard on?
No, but it's a vasodilator. So if
It's a visual dilator?
Vaso-
Like, you think your dick is bigger than it really is? Or,
It's a vasodilator. So if you take nitroglycerin or nitrous oxide in the gas form and you inhale it, you're gonna get your head is gonna start pounding because the blood vessels are opening up in your head.
Wait, hold on.
So
There's a
it's
specific sound you hear. Do you remember this?
Thump, thump.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. Yeah.
Okay, you know
We
what?
took
Now
a balloon too, by the way.
now that I think about it, I did not know that's what that was at the time. I didn't know about it.
That was nitrous.
But
Don't do drugs, kids. All right. Anything else to add? Nope. We pretty much summed it up.
Yeah.
Anything else? Nope. Pretty much summed it up. Yeah. All right. Well, episode 4, boys. We made it through.
it was rough at the end there.
It was really rough at the end.
Ken's always entertaining.
We appreciate you, Ken, joining us, and of course you, Troy, Cuz, and I'm Greg or Guy, depending upon how you know me. And we'll just leave it there. Sound good?